Hey, my name is Alec Wenzel, and today we're talking about practicing. We're going to talk about what practicing is, what practicing looks like at different skill levels on the guitar, and maybe some ways to either get you into a practice routine or break you out of where you currently are on the instrument. But before we get into all of that, please like and subscribe. My channel is really new, and a quick like and subscription from you would go a long way. The button is in the bottom right-hand corner underneath the video player. Thank you so much in advance, and now let's get into it. So I was inspired to make this video based on a video that I saw from Joseph Anidjar and Joshua de la Victoria, which I'll link up above and then down below in the description. And their video was sort of about how when you're playing at a high level, you don't end up getting as much time to practice as you would like, but you end up working on and developing new skills based on what you're being asked to rehearse and record. This just sort of got me thinking about what practice is and then how we could talk about practice at levels that are less than advanced. So what is practice? Well, to me, a sort of clinical definition of practice is the idea of repeating a skill over and over with the hopes that with each repetition, you are getting a more refined action and a more desirable outcome. This could look like a lot of different things on the guitar. This could look like playing a song over and over so that it sounds more confident. This could look like playing a scale over and over so the scale becomes more fluid. This could look like practicing a chord change so that the chord change sounds faster and more clear. There's a lot of different things that you could practice on the guitar and repeat over and over in hopes of getting to a better sound or better result. When I went to college, I studied jazz in a conservatory style program. And when I got there, I didn't really understand how to practice. To me, practicing was just playing along with the song over and over until you sounded like the recording. However, what I learned there was that by understanding the chords or harmony associated with that music or the scales being used to compose it and play it, you could develop those skills much more quickly and learn how to sound like who you were trying to emulate a lot faster. So now let's talk about what practice looks like for different types of guitar players. Some of this will be through the lens of skill level, and we'll definitely rank it that way. But I think there are great universal concepts at each level for everyone to take away, and it might be an opportunity for you to look at how your practicing might advance as you develop as a musician and a guitar player. So let's start off with a level 1 guitar player. A level 1 guitar player might be somebody who is a complete beginner, or it might be somebody who has set the guitar down for several years and wants to get back into practicing. The things I recommend practicing at this level are basic chord changes, and maybe a basic major scale. We want to work on just practicing good, clean, open chords. We can do this either by picking one of our favorite songs and choosing the chord transitions in that song to use as practice, or we can just pick a few of our favorite open chords and try to practice making them sound good and clean. I often prefer that method because it makes you feel a little bit less constrained, and it lets you hear how chords sound together without necessarily having a song already in your head determining that for you. So here I'm just picking C and G, and I'm practicing a good clean transition, not focused on speed, but focused on good resonant chords. And you just want to go back and forth like that to get the feeling of practicing a chord change, right? From that point, you can try to speed those chord changes up and start to feel a little bit more like you're playing a song. Once you're kind of there, we might want to start practicing those chord changes with downstrokes in groupings of 4, like this. Once you kind of have this going, try adding in a third chord. Maybe a fourth chord. Our goal is to just make the guitar sound good and to create a routine in which we feel good doing it, right? Sometimes picking a song to start out with can give us an unattainable goal, or it could be something that makes us feel like we're already failing out the gate. Just picking some nice, clean, open position chord changes to practice is a great way to get back into just trying to play the instrument. Another thing that we can practice is just a basic major scale through 2 octaves. I either recommend picking a C major scale or a kind of open position G major scale. Here is that C major scale, starting from the 8th fret on the low E string. Here's that G major open position scale. Again, the focus in level 1 is just creating good sounds and feeling confident on the instrument and feeling like we're setting ourselves up for success moving forward by having good, clean technique. So now let's talk about a level 2 guitar player. A level 2 guitar player is probably somebody who has graduated past basic chord changes. They can probably handle bar chords and they might have learned some strum patterns. They also probably feel pretty confident playing music with their friends on the weekends. Now, if that sounds like you, that's awesome. That's a great place to be in. But what I often hear from guitar players at that level is that they feel like they're plateauing and they'd like to learn how to improvise better or get into being able to solo over the music that they're playing with their friends. The way that I recommend you get into improvising is by trying to learn some basic blues licks. Minor pentatonic blues licks form the basis of lots of rock soloing, and even though we call them blues licks, they often are usable in all different styles of music. The reason I love using minor pentatonic blues licks to help people learn how to improvise on the guitar is because they're often what I call movable patterns. What this means is once you've learned a lick in one position on the neck, you can simply shift it around by keeping the pattern the same on different frets to help you figure out what key you're in. You can just use your ear to hear if what you're playing sounds all right on top of the chord changes that you're hearing. I'm going to show you how to do this by playing a minor pentatonic scale through 2 octaves, and then I'll play a simple blues lick and start moving it around the neck so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. Here's an A minor pentatonic scale through 2 octaves, starting from the low E on the 5th fret. Here's a little blues lick in A minor, and then I'm going to move it around to other places. See, that's a great example of how you can just move around a simple lick to help you figure out what key you're in. If you play it over the chords and it sounds bad, you're not in the right spot. But if you find a spot on the neck where it works, then you can continue to play your other licks in that position from there. So where are some good places to find licks like these? Well, what you can do is look up transcriptions on ultimateguitar.com of solos that you might have liked and see if you can grab little pieces of them that feel usable to you. Some great players to check out for this might be Stevie Ray Vaughan or Eric Clapton when he was in Cream, or maybe some early Buddy Guy recordings or B.B. King recordings. These are all places where you might find licks like these that you could then practice moving around the guitar and using on top of different chord changes to see what you like and see what works. So to review, a level 2 guitar player or an intermediate guitar player is someone who's jamming with their friends but would love to learn how to improvise. And I would recommend doing it just the way that we discussed. Learn some minor pentatonic blues licks and try moving them around the neck and using them on top of the songs that you're playing with your friends. I would also try moving around the minor pentatonic box to all positions on the neck so that you can start to look at other ways to branch off from these licks that you're playing and maybe come up with a few of your own and develop a little bit of your own style. Finally, we're going to talk about a level 3 guitar player. The level 3 guitar player is probably somebody who is quite advanced. They maybe play in bars on the weekend, they might be in a few bands, they might be playing covers. They're quite adept at playing chords and improvising, and they probably don't have a lot of trouble playing a lot of what they're looking to work on. But when I see a level 3 guitar player who comes in, often what they're asking me for is to break out of boxes that they're in, right? They might be a great improviser, but they might feel stuck in one position, something like this. Right, they have a lot of licks, but they kind of end up stuck in a minor pentatonic box, and while that's really great, and I love using those, it might start to feel a little bit stale. So what I often encourage players like this to do is to try to connect other parts of the guitar and begin to play a little bit more linearly. What I mean by this is that when we play scales, we can technically play those scales starting in any position on the guitar. That's why I've kind of been playing some of these scales through 2 different octaves. When I want to connect scales on the guitar, I often use a sort of connected position to move to another area of the neck. This can kind of create some drama and an upward motion, right? A way to move higher and higher as we play our licks on the guitar. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to start by playing a C major scale starting on the A string. I'm going to move into an A minor pentatonic position, and then I'm going to move up into a different C major scale. Here's how that goes. See, that was a nice long C major lick in 3 different positions on the guitar. What I did was I started from a C major scale starting on the A string here, and then I moved into an A minor position here, and then from there I was able to move up into a sort of longer version of the C major scale that we've been playing, a 3-note legato version. That way we're able to move further and further up the neck and create excitement as we continue to make the solo move higher and higher. Another way to talk about this sort of linear guitar playing is by taking our scales and using our whole step, half step pattern for our major scale to just move it all the way up the neck on one string like this. This is again a C major pattern, but I'm starting on the C in the first fret of the B string and I'm moving it all the way up the neck. Here's what I mean by that. See, that was our major scale, but we only played it on the B string, and we did it by starting from a C and going C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step back to C at the top of our scale. Learning how to play scales linearly like this is a great way to break out of boxes on the guitar and learn how to connect other positions on the neck. I'm going to start another C major scale from that C on the A string that we saw earlier. Here we go. We're going C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now I'm going to start from C on the G string, and I'll say the pattern one more time. So here's C, and then whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Once you're getting pretty good at connecting scales this way, playing from C to C linearly on one string, then you might want to start from the middle of the scale. I'm going to start right now from G on the high E and play all the way up through a whole half octave and then another octave on top of that. So we're going G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Then, once you've sort of been able to successfully do that on all strings, you can start to connect more linear lines and play a little bit more lengthwise instead of inside of a box. Here's what I mean by that. See, there we sort of use those linear scale positions to connect different licks and move up and down strings and then move further up the neck. So, to review, a level 3 guitar player is somebody who's already a great improviser but is maybe feeling stuck in their boxes and they want to be playing more interesting licks and connecting the whole guitar. Great ways to do that are to learn scales in multiple positions and learn scales moving up and down one string at a time and then beginning to connect those together. So this has been practicing at 3 different levels. Maybe it's not the most in-depth look at all these different ways in which we could learn to practice the guitar, but I hope it gets you started in whatever part of your guitar journey that you're on, right? There's no wrong way to play the guitar, and there's no reason that you have to push yourself or try to break out of the place that you are in. But if you are interested in trying some of these different techniques or learning some of these different skills, then I think these are great ways to try to begin to apply those. But for now, that is everything we have to talk about today. If you liked everything you heard, please like and subscribe. Again, my channel is really new and likes and subscriptions would really help me out. That button is in the bottom right-hand corner underneath the video player. And with that, my name is Alec Wenzel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you back here soon for lessons, gear demos, and just general guitar stuff. Thanks so much again, and I'll see you later.